What's up, everyone? It's Silas, back again with, well, my first real video. So, what am I going to be discussing today? We're going to be talking about something that is very important to me, near and dear to my personal health. That is the importance of diet and nutrition. Eating healthy and choosing to step away from foods that are unhealthy. So there's a lot of different aspects to this concept of diet and nutrition. The first one that I have wrote down here is mental health. So a healthy mind is a healthy body. So basically, when you're eating healthy, when you're eating holistically, it revamps your system, it revamps the way you think, it revamps your body, and especially if you're eating whole, natural foods that are unprocessed. It is what our body recognizes, and it is what our body is able to process easier versus going out and going to a grocery store, going to a fast food restaurant and buying foods that are processed, frozen. And so essentially what happens is with processed foods, the food starts out at a certain type, something that may be completely different than what the final product is. So what happens during that process is obviously chemicals and things like that are added in, sugars, fats, things that our bodies have trouble recognizing naturally. And so our body goes into sort of a state of confusion when we eat these things. It puts us in a mental fog. It can put us into a dopamine dependent state where we're constantly chasing out the next best thing. There's a lot of aspects behind this, and I'll dive more into it in the next couple videos. But if you don't eat healthy, your mental health will deteriorate. And I've noticed this personally. I've experienced it. I have spent time in front of a screen eating junk food. There was a time where I weighed almost 200 pounds. That was my senior year of high school. And since I graduated, there was a time where, the majority of my real healthy eating has been over the past year and a half. And the majority of my education has come from just teaching myself. And also I did go to cooking school, so I know partial science behind the way some of these foods work and the effects that they have on the body, what the foods contain, the importance of eating certain foods over other types. So enough rambling. I guess I should really get to my points here. So it can cause chemical imbalances in the brain. So cortisol, testosterone, estrogen, things like that are all affected when you eat certain types of foods. So for example, when you eat an avocado raw by itself is a natural fat. It's a very healthy fat. Our bodies need it for energy. It's a building block for building muscle and to help our bodies run. But it also boosts testosterone, and it also just helps increase your body's overall energy levels. So, but if you look at something like, say for example, Lucky Charms, okay? When you're eating Lucky Charms, it's dense in sugar. And when you're eating something that is high in sugar, it raises your estrogen levels, which actually increases your fat. So not only are you putting your body into shock because it can't handle the sugar inherently by itself, which raises the fat levels, just the sugar. The sugar raises your estrogen, which in turn adds more fat on top of that. It turns your food that you've just ingested into fat. So if you're eating, you can eat healthy all day, right? But if you go out of your way and then you drink a 2-liter bottle of Coke, then you're reversing everything that you've just worked for. You know what I mean? So there is this mentality that, like, it seems to, like, balance out, where if you can eat one healthy thing, then you can eat something unhealthy. But it doesn't really work that way. If you want to see true change within your life, you need to drop and cut out foods that are unhealthy for you. Foods that are high in sugar, foods that are processed, foods that will put your body into a state of pure confusion, and your hormones will be off, and it often messes up our sleep schedule, our sex drive, things like that, things that are vital to our human existence on a biological level. So, next point. Good nutrition yields long-term rewards. So, it's definitely true. If you are the type of person who, wakes up every day and, eats a bowl of sugary cereal and drinks a soda, or if you're someone who drinks soda every day, the 1 soda a day rule, like that's BS. Like that's the reason why you're not losing weight. Like, that's the reason why people, when you give yourself a reason, when you enable yourself to do something, you're not going to see a change. So the only way you can see a change is by hearing that voice that's trying to enable you and cutting it out, because there's no listening to that. When you listen to that voice, it will stray you incorrectly. And our brains are automatically wired to chase out what feels good. We don't even know what we're doing subconsciously most of the time. That's a whole nother subject anyways. It's the best natural antidepressant. A healthy diet, there's no replacement for a healthy diet. There is no substitute for eating healthy every single day, waking up, drinking clean, pure water, and eating whole foods that are unprocessed. When I go to the grocery store, I'm not looking through the aisles that are processed. I'm going to the produce aisle first, and I'm picking out a bunch of different vegetables, picking out a bunch of different fruits that I'm planning on eating over the next week, and I make my meals out of those. And I have noticed a huge change in my mental clarity, my drive, my motivation. Like, the changes that it has made in my life have been so dramatic that it's practically indescribable. Like, it makes me incredibly grateful that I was able to come to this conclusion on my own. So, all in all, I think that diet and nutrition is something that is not to be underestimated, and it's not to be taken lightly. I think that when we are able to focus on our diet and nutrition and forming good, healthy habits that way every day, we're able to change our lives for the better. And we as people owe it to ourselves to seek out our own mental health, like the betterment of our own mental health, and not be chasing this feel-good feeling that is only temporary when we wake up the next day and we feel all depressed because we ate a bunch of sugar the night before. And it's because it's just simple science. Like, people are overthinking it, but the simple fact of the matter is that it's like a chemical imbalance in the brain. It's just like when you drink too much alcohol, or do too much of anything, it can cause issues. So the same goes for unhealthy foods, and just food in general. Eating too much food can be unhealthy. Even if it is whole, like, good foods for you, overeating can also cause more problems than not. But that's also another subject for another video. So in conclusion, keep an eye on your health, keep an eye on your nutrition. Make sure that you are doing what is right for you and what feels good to your body, not necessarily what feels good to your brain. And you won't see immediate results once you start eating healthy, like for 1 or 2 days. But if you can do it for 4 or 5 days, or make it a consistent habit where you can wake up every day and you make yourself a whole breakfast with, like, you know, eggs or fruit, yogurt, oatmeal. There's many different foods that, like, I'll list some of them off in my future videos here, but there's a lot of foods that we can eat that can completely revamp the way we think and act. And so I strongly encourage you to pursue that, and to pursue better health for yourself, and better health for your future self too. Because when you sacrifice comfort now, your future self will grow to be a greater person. So yeah, that's that. Eat well.